Previously in X-Men. Rachel Summers, the newest addition to Xavier School for gifted youngsters, has arrived from an alternate future where the war between humans and mutants has brought the mutants to the verge of extinction. And the new mutants, the junior team to the X-Men in our regular continuity here, have a newest member of their own named Amara Aquilla, codenamed Magma. With the rest of the students dealing with drama of their own, perhaps it's time for these two girls to have a little fun. I am Jason Lapidus.
I am Chris Sanagan.
And we are Group of 7 Comics. Welcome to episode 109 of our ongoing Tuesday night live stream read-through of the X-Men comics that became classic, as we read Uncanny X-Men 189 by writer Chris Claremont, penciler John Romita Jr., guest inker Steve Leialoha, cover date of January 1985. Chris, how are you?
I'm good. Just as you said, we are now in 1985. This is the years just keep ticking by.
We're talking about the life, dude, and you're kind of feeling some sort of existential dread.
No, I just mean what year? 77 was
No, 75.
75, so 10 years.
10 years of X-Men comics.
We've now covered 10 years of X-Men.
Of Chris Claremont X-Men comics.
Of Chris Claremont.
I have misplaced this issue, by the way. It's somewhere in my crazy piles of comics that are here. I'm going to be reading it today in my Essential Volume 5 because I don't know where my regular one is, and I'm going to start crying very soon because it's not like me to misplace, or is it? You know, I've misplaced a few comics over the years, and it kills me every time. But usually I don't misplace what I'm trying to read that week. So I'm a little distracted. I kind of want to keep looking instead of looking at you. I just want to look around my studio and see if I can find it. But I just got this bad boy here, so I guess I'll stick with it. How are you reading this one today?
I'm reading this through the magic of DVD-ROM.
That's incredible.
It's technology of the future, but today, amazing.
Jason Lowe is here. He says, "To me, my X-Men."
But you got to say it like Cyclops says it in the trailer for
right.
X-Men 97.
Now we gotta change that up, right? Because it's always been a Professor X thing, at least in our shared brain, you and me. Mm-hmm. And Jason, that has been your call sign, your catchphrase on our show, which is the best. And now it's like it's when I heard Cyclops say that in the trailer for X-Men 97, you were the first person I thought of, Jason. So I was really excited for you. Somehow, as if Cyclops saying it validates you in some way. If that is the case, it made me really happy at the idea that it made you feel happy. So I'm excited for you to watch that show. You and everybody else, but you were definitely on the forefront of my mind, Jason Lowe. And Chuck Dodson says, "Sup, ex-friends? How are you, Chuck? Hope you're well. And I hope you guys are enjoying your X-Men comics in whatever form they may take." Chris, I was thinking about this X-Men show coming up. Would you be into, because I think it's going to be one episode a week dropping. It's not the whole series dropping at once. It's one episode a week. Would you be into devoting a portion of our weekly read-through to recapping or just rehashing a little bit of, or maybe general impressions of the latest episode of X-Men 97?
I'd be down with that for sure. So
it starts at the end of March, correct?
It does, yeah.
Good. So it goes right through the spring. It should be a lot of fun to get into that. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be. Do you know how many episodes?
I do not. But as we mentioned on the show last week, I'm concurrently watching all the old episodes right now. So like come the end of March, I'm gonna be ready.
Right. I think also it'll be a fine jumping on point for new people. Like the idea, just as I'm gonna wipe my glasses here, George Bush Jr. style on the sweater of a nearby intern or page. You ever see that clip, by the way? No. Where he was on Letterman and like one of the stagehands comes and is dealing with Letterman. talking to Letterman, doing something at his desk, and George Bush, the president at the time, takes her sweater while she's standing there looking and starts fitting his glasses. It's insane. It's completely bonkers, but it happened.
That is so weird.
It is so weird. It's such a weird bit of entitlement in that moment.
Yeah.
Your clothes is my anyway. Veering back into X-Men. Sorry, it's stream of consciousness.
Bizarro.
I think it'll be a fun jumping on point for new people as well. Just like every other time there's a show, there's that Jim Shooter ethos of like, let's explain who everyone is. Let's see how all this worked out.
Yeah.
And most of us jumped into comics in our formative years without having all the backstory in place. We just sort of caught up and made it work. And especially those of our generation, the pre-streaming age, watching shows in syndication, you never got to see the first episode first. You just picked up with whatever you had. So, and even the X-Men show itself doesn't really start at the beginning. It's not the formation of the team, right?
Right.
They're on a mission. I think it's a 3-parter. Night of the Sentinels,
perhaps, or
and it's you learn all through Jubilee's eyes, but it is an introduction of sorts. The team already exists, so I think they're going to do that again in some way to bring all of us up to speed. But it should be awesome. Should be awesome.
Speaking of which, by the way, just because I wanted to bring this up to you because I've been going through again those episodes. I'm currently just about to finish the Phoenix Saga, which is a 5-parter in season 3. And wow, do they take storylines from a whole bunch of stuff and mash it into one, including our good friend Banshee and Black Tom and Juggernaut, and going to the castle in Ireland, Cassidy Keep. And Eric the Red is there. There's a whole. I'm just like, what is happening?
It's fun. They take that first part of her turning into Phoenix, and then skip all the other John Byrne issues until that. It is a really neat patchwork of. Speaking of which, can I show something off?
Yeah, of course.
Besides my guns.
Oh,
hold on.
2 tickets to the gun show.
So, So this past weekend, I was at Wayside Comics and Cocktails up in lovely Main Street of Newmarket, Ontario. So this is 4 municipalities north of Toronto.
Is that a unit of measurement, municipalities?
No, but it kind of just gives you a sense of how many kind of cities.
I'm about 16 and a half municipalities west of you.
It's like not one city north. It's like, technically speaking, 4 cities north.
Sure.
I believe. But it's, half hour from my place. Anyway, and I got to spend the day talking to the amazing John Berg, creator, cartoonist behind Scab. And it was nice. We got to table. We shared a table together there in that store. And Jerome Cabanatan and Doug Knight shared the other table, which was far enough away, but too far away at the same time. Like, couldn't get in every conversation with them, but once in a while we could kind of holler at each other. And it's a really great shop. You absolutely should get up there. To anyone in obviously Southern Ontario, get on up to Wayside Comics and Cocktails. It is sort of like a dream hangout spot. So, hardwood floors and exposed brick, and then lots of windows and big screen TV playing, lots of fun movies the whole time. So I walked in and Spider-Verse was on, and later in the day, we watched Deep Rising, which I'd never seen, which was just bonkers.
Wow.
And the best cast. I mean, the best character actor cast you could ever have. And then eventually, I think we ended the day with a little Ghost Rider, which I don't remember. Did you and I see that in theaters together as well?
Possibly.
Anyway, that was a long time ago. But I was working on some stuff there, and I did a trade for some original art. Mm-hmm. And I got my hands on John Byrne's X-Men Artist Edition, which is like, I haven't been shy about it. He's my first favorite artist I ever had when I was a kid. He's the artist who I first started aping and copying his drawings. and he's the first one whose name I recognize as being a person that I wanted to emulate, and I wanted to be him. And it was so much fun to dive into John Byrne. 1985. You know, I'm grade 5 then, so later in the year. Right now, so I was 10 years ago. I was in at that moment in time, I was in grade 4 of our issue that we're reading. But later in the year, I'm in grade 5, which is when I start really reading. But this stuff is the seminal work of the reason we're doing this show is because of that John Byrne, Chris Claremont run.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a straight read of the Dark Phoenix. It's an assortment of pages that they had access to that they could still scan and collect in this. And this is the new printing. I think it just came out most recently. And to see this, and like after you and I diving so deep into it, and I look at these pages, they mean so much more to me now than they did when I was a kid. And so I just can't believe I was able to get my hands on it. And this could be a series of shows unto itself, just diving into what's here, from like the incredible end cap pages of that cover to the alternate ending. Like it's called the Untold Story of Dark Phoenix, I think, or Untold Phoenix Story. But the John Byrne and Terry Austin work in here it's just the best thing I've ever seen. And I remember redrawing that as a kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, that was a seminal panel for me as a youngster. I found that in a reprint. I think it was like Alpha Flight 17. They reprinted that issue or parts of that story. But this thing it's really just incredible. Like really, really incredible to see. And then just to tie one thing back to what we were talking about so much in the show about the choice to kill off Jean and how complicated it was editorially speaking.
Mm-hmm.
You can see all these pages. These are the pages where they are on the Shi'ar spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to figure out, are you able to hear me while I'm behind the book?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to look out to see if you could. Hello. As long as you can hear me, it's okay. So on these pages, you can see that the words were pasted up afterward. They're on a completely different kind of paper. That's why they've aged differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a sign that the script was rewritten and then pasted onto these panels that already existed. And that's because Claremont had to go back and rewrite because they had already penciled, inked, and lettered with the idea of Jean not being killed. So he goes back in and rewrites, and then they have to paste up new lettering to lay in the seeds of a story that's going to end in her death. So it's pretty cool to see how much had to be changed. That whole issue, like on this, also about half of them are being redone.
Wow.
So they rewrote it, which is really, really cool. And one more thing I'll just show you because there's so much in here to go through. If you were ever going to get an artist edition, by the way, maybe this is high up on your list. Why is it doing that? Oh, because my thumb
is, I guess, must be. Yeah.
No, it's really, really good.
Oh,
thank you. So Alpha Flight's in here, which is great for me, and it goes all the way to Days of Future Past. And there are some pages that didn't get used, like when I think this probably would have been, a solo Wolverine.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go hunting.
Yeah,
like the splash page did not get used. It says an unpublished splash penciled ink by Byrne. It was done for a spec for a proposed Wolverine solo story and predates his earliest X-Men work. Whoa! But what's in here is that little thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Sorry, I'm going the wrong way. There. That's the original art.
Oh, that's cool.
Meaningful to me as well. Just the most beautiful book.
My only question for you is: are there more illustrations of children in that book?
Like gross John Byrne children?
Right, because I mean, we all agree that's his strength, drawing those strangely proportioned children.
Yes. Yeah.
And then that's the other artist edition. It's just all
Byrne and Ramita Jr., by the way, they're both amazing at children. I did get some other books too.
Yeah, you did.
That were part of that trade. I also got an Alex Toth book, like Alex Toth Genius Animated, and the softcover version, not the original hardcover, which is out of print, but the new IDW softcover. And I got, and I don't know how to explain, like how the Lone Wolf and Cub Artist Edition. It's not called Artist Edition. It's called a maybe a gallery edition or something like that. But the deal seems heavy in my favor, and so I'm now forever indebted, I think, to Omar from from Wayside Comics and Cocktails. I'll do whatever he asks.
There was some kind of incantation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I also am doing another commission for him, so we're doing something. But the idea of trading art for artist editions is like, yeah, I kind of like that. All right. It's fun to think of like, oh, this drawing I'm doing is going to turn into, I'm going to manifest a book that I covet. I mean, that's kind of fun. Anyway, yeah, very cool. So, if you have any artist editions that you want to send my way, anyone out there, I will draw something for you happily. Anyway, moving on. Where's this copy of this comic, man? I'm going to go crazy. I have to tear apart this room.
How many artist editions are there?
Too many. I don't know. 50? I have no idea.
How many do you have?
Oh, well, maybe there are 100. I don't know. Let's look. So they come in a few different forms now because the artist edition is a branded title. Right. So there's like Artifact Edition, Artist Edition, Artisan Edition, and art like portfolio. So there's a few different things. If we lump them all into probably two different categories, the oversized hardcover, like I just showed, we can just call those generally an artist edition, even if they are a collection, or even if they're off-brand. If they're from Dark Horse or DC or whatever, we can just call them all artist edition. Then the artisan edition is the same object at about maybe 2/3 size soft cover, and the difference is like they're probably a quarter of the price. So sometimes an artist edition can run like, somewhere between 170 and 200, or depending on the size, depending how rare. If you're getting it firsthand, secondhand, they can be very expensive sometimes, especially
generally hardcover. You're saying
artist editions are hardcover, and they can, if you have a membership at a store, it really brings the price down significantly. That's where like it's really worth it. And then an artisan edition you can usually get for like 50 plus tax, and you can get those often off Amazon. And I have a bunch, so they are like from about there to about there. Those are all artisan editions from a bunch of artists we love. So things like Daredevil Born Again, Walt Simonson's run on Thor, some Will Eisner, some EC Comics, some Mike Mignola, some John Romita Sr., just the list goes on. Like if I see one, and especially if it's like old on Amazon, I'll like snag it, especially if it's on sale. And my artist editions they're hidden. Okay, hold on. Let me just see if I can change the view for a second. I'll show you. Oh yeah, there. They are.
Oh yeah.
There to there across. Okay. And that big one right there, that is the Dark Knight Returns. And it is, so that whole section there, it's bigly. It's really big. It is. And it is
a noble spirit embiggens the
Yeah, it's crazy. Chuck says 136 was the first issue off the rack. Like, what a time to jump on board with X-Men. And Brick something, hey, how are you? Excelsior to you too. Now, hold on. Why is Jason? I'm assuming he's calling me a nerd, right?
I think so, yeah.
I don't mind, but is there something extra to provoke such a hostile attack or an attempted attack from you?
I think it's incomplete.
He's kidding.
response to me being so very cool.
That's possibly what it is. It's okay. I don't mind.
Cromulent. Cromulent word.
Nice. So we can get into reading this one. I wasn't really stoked to read this. I have to be honest. The last issue didn't leave me like urging. Didn't leave me hungry for more X-Men comics of that era.
Right.
You know.
I hear you.
Yeah, were you in the same spot?
Yeah, you know, I mean, we're just kind of, you know, feels like a little bit going through some motions. So, you know.
Yeah, we should talk just briefly about Magma.
Magma. Yes.
Do you know anything about this character?
Not at all.
Okay, there is definitely some backstory that you need to know. So I'll throw it on you.
I mean, I read the issue and learned there is a Nova Rome or something that is a breakaway from the Caesarean times, and it's in the Amazon River.
Okay, so you got it. So yeah, she comes from a Wakanda kind of place,
right,
where it is a secret land, and they have their own politics and their own. So the idea would have been that they could have her living in a Nova Roma, like a new Rome. Yes, in Brazil or in South America at the mouth of the Amazon, and the land had been hidden and whatever. She comes from this place of like senatorial intrigue and
yes,
and whatever. And Selene is from there too.
That's right.
So those are sort of the two pieces that we kind of need to know about this hidden world that she's from, and it really overcomplicates her journey to and then like her mutant powers only show up after she's thrown into lava. Like it just happens to be she's thrown in lava by Selene, and her powers happen to be lava
based.
Which whatever, all that's fine.
Very convenient.
Yeah, it is a lot, and it's funny because all my time reading comics, like I never knew any of that till today. So it doesn't impact anything in my mind. The same is like with Warlock. The shape changing alien Warlock.
Yeah, I mean I know what the thing is. I just don't really know.
That's
much
kind of all you need. All you
Yeah.
need to know if he was to show up in X-Men is like, oh, this is a shape-shifting comedic alien thing,
Right.
And it more gets revealed as you go along. But to enjoy and appreciate, you don't have to know the overly complicated backstory. Yeah. So yeah, she is a complicated character, and no one understands her. But
Magma.
Chuck says, "Oh man, there are artist editions of David Cockrum and Paul Smith X-Men coming out later this year." Well, sir,
Guess where that money's going.
the Paul Smith ones I probably will want to get my hands on, or the Paul Smith one. Yeah. But we'll see. Jason Lowe says Celine's been everywhere since time immemorial, and Jason Jose adds, "She's hot." Literally. Yes, she is. Oh, Christopher.
Yes.
There was some Marvel Legends reveals today.
I saw those today.
Do you want to talk about those at the end?
We can talk about them now. It's fine.
Okay, now. Yeah, there's a fun Fantastic Four Wolverine and Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Oh,
like where they're in FF costumes.
Oh, I didn't see those.
But like a modified, there's a 2-pack coming for sort of contemporary. So like Wolverine, imagine him in blue and black with a X-Men logo on his chest. It's a really striking look. And Spider-Man the same, but no webbing lines, but that blue on some black with like what's his logo? Is it like a web logo, I guess, or a Spider-Man face? I forget. Yeah. But in terms of X-Men, Wolfsbane.
Yeah.
Cable.
There's that new Rogue too. I saw
a new what?
Rogue.
I did not see a new Rogue.
I did, yeah.
Oh, what's the new Rogue?
It's based on the animated series. Check out Toying Around. He talks about it on he posts on it, and it comes with an accessory. It's like a hearse stomping on a sentinel's head. for X-Men 97. That's right. There's even one where she has like Cyclops' power coming out of her eyes.
So thank you. This
Well,
is a Mondo figure,
okay.
not a Marvel Legends. Thank you.
Gotcha.
The action figure people, look at you guys. That's amazing.
Hey,
Rensu, thank you for that.
Yeah.
That I'm sure is really striking. There are some super cool Mondo animated figures. There's a great one of like Wolverine in his civilian clothes with like his leather jacket with his yellow plaid shirt underneath, and they look like they are walked right off the screen for sure. But there is, of course, a X-Men 97 Marvel Legends Rogue that came out in the first wave, and it is I really like the figure. I have one, and I'm really happy about it. She's great, and it's like my default Rogue for sure for time immemorial. She'll be my default Rogue.
Well, I saw that one, and I saw the Marvel Legends. There's some Captain America ones and Shield.
Yeah, the Shield ones look cool.
And then there was a run with Cable, Wolfsbane, a few others, and Khazar. It was Khazar. You build a fig. It's Zabu. You have to build that Zabu.
Yes, I'm pretty tempted for like a Savage Land kind of corner of my X-Men world, you know. I think I'm gonna maybe try and build that Sabretooth cat, the Smilodon. I'm into it. What are you laughing about?
It's just it's funny. I knew the name. I think probably because of this show.
Oh yeah,
where it's like build a figure Zabu. What is that familiar? Does that sound familiar?
And there's a comic accurate Icarus from Eternals that looks
pretty
so good. Like so many new elements to it. It looks really excellent. And for people who aren't fans of the Eternals, like don't get it, I'll get it. It's no problem. More for me. Torensu adds, if Mondo made this in 6-inch scale, it's going to be dangerous. Yeah, they look really cool, but I imagine that's not part of their license. Like, one of those licensing things is you can only license out one product concept kind of to one company. So a 6-inch scale animated looking action figure of X-Men, it would have to be like an import company, right? Who would be doing it at a higher price point and something different about it. Or with a case of like Marvel Select, those are 7-inch, so it's like a different scale. That's how they get away with that. But I would love to see more of that stuff. Anyway, there you go, man.
There you go.
Comics.
Figs. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
So I opened up my DVD-ROM to read this issue and was like, I don't really know anything that's going on here.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew who I could picture. I knew who Selene was in the background because we've seen her before in that kind of Hellfire getup. But the other two, I was just did not know. And so if you came to this cold, you'd have some splaining to do.
Yeah, this is where for my 2 cents, like I'm just not sold on, at this point in time, John Romita Jr.'s ability to do character design in really interesting and compelling ways. I recognize that there's a reason that Rachel Summers is in this getup,
right?
But it isn't that interesting. Like if you're gonna go cheesecake, then you can do something even better. And if you're not gonna go cheesecake, then maybe don't do this.
Right.
I'm not sure. I'm not a huge fan. Then there's something really weird about the placement of Selene's arms. So one is behind the X-Men logo and one is in front of. But the explosion in front of Selene is behind the X-Men logo. So I recognize you couldn't really put the explosion in front of, but you could have I don't want to get into this any further. It's graphically it's weird. I'll leave it at that. And then the fire effect on magma. This is a really fun thing to me is watching the evolution of how artists communicate these sort of fire effects. And it takes Kirby, many issues to figure out how to go from the Golden Age style Human Torch into what becomes the default, Human Torch for 50 years, in terms of the style of how you draw a character on fire. And this is like, Ramita figuring something out. He's trying something. Like having shadow underneath a character that is illuminated from the inside is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does she have dark spots to her? Like, doesn't she generate her own light? I don't know, but he's trying to figure something out. So, yeah, we will see.
We will see.
Jason Jose says the Hellfire Club was really an eyes wide shut thing. Yeah, it's some weird kinky stuff for children's comics. And then how do you communicate these psychic things, right? Like these telekinetic or telepathic effects.
Also, something interesting, you've got the corner box, you've got the 4 heads. Because in this issue, no spoilers, but they do say that, Wolverine and Kitty are off still in Japan for that little miniseries that we're going to dive into later. But I think it's reflected that they're not in the book in this corner box. And that I don't think has been consistent. And I think it's just generally been the faces, regardless of who's in the issue.
Okay, I have the last issue in hand, and it still has all the heads.
That's what I mean.
So this even has Cyclops on it. So this is the first time that we're seeing, for those of you who are Cornerbox fans, the first time we're seeing faces being selected out if they don't appear in the issue.
Right.
So yeah, 3 of them are gone, and then the photo stats here are like increased in size, so they get a little larger. Yeah, kind of fun. Brick Something remembers getting this comic for 60 cents. Wow. You are old, and that's great. As I am old too. All right. Do you want to voice Magma, or do you want to voice Rachel?
Sure. Sure. Do Magma, sure.
Can you do a South American accent of some kind?
Oh, I don't think I'll be doing that.
All right, fair enough. Should we talk just for 1 second then about the guest inker Steve Leialoha?
Well, sure. Let's talk about that. Yeah. Who is Steve?
Steve is a different inker than Dan Green. People like me know Steve Leialoha most because of his finishes job on G.I. Joe number 21, which is the silent interlude. Larry Hama himself laid out that issue, and Steve Leialoha did the finishes, and it's like, the coolest looking issue of G.I. Joe ever, maybe, other than Michael Golden. So he has some pretty serious chops, depending on the assignment, but he's working over somebody else. Chuck asks, when did Storm's Corner Box image change to reflect her new hairstyle? Oh, you're going to make me dig through the issues. It's been a little while, Chuck. I don't have the exact number here, but I don't want to leave and derail to find out, but I will get you that answer. I'll find the issue where it changes. All right, so here we go into this issue, which
Into the Breach.
189. Into the Breach. There we go. Oh, look at that ad. I assumed something was missing from this first page, by the way, because the copy I have is pretty sparse in terms of the gutters, but that's exactly what's here. That's a big bottom gutter, don't you think?
It is.
But it's okay. Free t-shirt. Some view, Amara?
Oh, Rachel, it is beyond belief. The mountains of my home in Nova Roma are magnificent works of nature, but this city is a creation of man.
New York, New York, the most wonderful town. You just want to go into some Simpsons shtick. It is kind of neat, though, that the idea of this fish out of water, right? That's the idea of her. Is that you get to have someone with a different perspective who's going to see things from this weird classical Rome point of view, as if like we need to explore that.
Very, very. I mean, I had to get a sense of who this character was, but like very Wonder Woman-y, that world of, ancient, the classic world that they come from, right? With the myths and the gods and stuff, right?
Yes, and the political scape, like the value system of of like the works of nature, where the city is a creation of man. Like, I don't know, the greatness of humanity. This has a like Roman thing to it. X-Men 175 is the first appearance of the Mohawk Storm corner box. Thank you, Jason Jose. Thank you very much. Are you going to say it?
You can.
No, you. Go ahead on behalf of Jason Lowe.
New York City.
Okay. Two young women, both strangers in a strange land, yawn, who've voluntarily torn themselves from the lives they knew to leap headlong, one into the future, the other the past. Both are mutants, and that fundamental fact rules their existence. More and more, it marks them as outcasts. More and more, they and their fellow students at Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters find themselves feared and hated by the world they've sworn to protect. Amara Juliana Olivianzakia is a child of Nova Roma, a city founded nearly 2,000 years ago by a party of expatriate Romans in the Andean hill highlands that spawned the headwaters of the Amazon. In a sense, her companion, Rachel Summers, hasn't even been born yet. The New York she remembers is that of the 21st century. Oh. Two girls out to have fun. And look how fun that lettering is.
Yeah.
Oh, Brick something says, oh crap, just realized I missed the Life Death episode. Yeah, we did it a couple weeks back, and it is a great comic. So go back and watch it when we're done this one. And yeah, it's you can catch up on it's there for you forever. So enjoy. Here we get the credits again, the usual cast of characters other than Steve Leialoha. And if you haven't ever checked out G.I. Joe number 21, Silent Interlude, highly recommended. It's a beautiful looking comic in just about every reprinted form too. And the memories aren't pleasant. I really dig this, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
In her mind's eye, she sees Lower Manhattan burning. The Twin Towers of the World Trade Center lie in ruins. Thousands are dead, many more injured. Rachel's a telepath. Holy shit.
That panel, like, hits hard. Just
Holy
because
shit.
Just,
yeah.
Events.
Like, I didn't expect that coming in, you know?
Neither did I. And, wow. Anyway.
Yeah. Here we get to see some, classic cartooning language happening as we transition into Rachel's mind. You get that look into her eyes with that different inking style, that different rendering, as if it's sort of fading in. And then all the panel borders in her memory are organic in line. And it's that subtle way of communicating that, like, a kid realizes after a little while, like, oh, this is an upsetting memory or whatever it might be. So pretty interesting to do that. I love it. And I'm really digging. I know it's maybe looks a little too flat or too jagged or something, someone else's eye, but I kind of like seeing a different inker over Joan Romita so far. I'm kind of curious about it. I'm having trouble getting the first word here just because it's right in the gutter. There. Okay. Even though she's over a mile away, aboard a Navy hydrofoil, she hears their screams, feels their pain, and their deaths. For once, she is grateful that the drugs dull her wits. Otherwise, the anguish would have probably driven her mad.
Over here, Mutie. We've got work for you.
This is one of the creepiest things from when I was a kid, like reading these, is that Rachel has this other role.
Right.
And, as you turn the page, we're going to see, like, in her future, this is what she was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she could seek out and sense and locate other mutants.
And just that outfit with the spikes or the studs on them, and then
So
they tattoo or paint her face, or I wasn't sure
she
what.
calls it a Maori mask at one point.
Right.
So anyway, yeah. So that's a hound. I've heard of them, Sergeant, but never met one before.
She's the best, sir.
We're hunting mutants. Muties Red, somewhere in the Upper Bay. Find them.
She responds as she's been trained, eager to please. There! A woman, 2 children, unrelated, terrified, wanting only to escape the nightmare their country has become. In a flash, Rachel is aware of their every thought and memory and feeling. She feels no remorse. She isn't allowed to. But a piece of her soul dies with them.
Good girl, Red. I'm proud of you.
Chuck asks, what's happening with her face? This is a way, I mean, there's the meta answer, then there's the in-story answer. I'm going to stick with the meta answer, if you don't mind, which is it's a way to signify to the reader that this is when she's being controlled as opposed to when she has control. It's a way to, like objectify her as this other thing. And it's a strange choice. Graphically, it's a strange choice. There probably is some more in-story reason why it is the way it is, but any writer or artist is going to just explain it the way they want to. But yeah, she's a hound. She's a mutant hunter in her alternate future, which is pretty terrible.
So we, to connect this to some other media in X-Men, I mean, in the Logan movie, we do meet Caliban, who has been kind of used in the same purpose by the Reavers. He's able to locate other mutants, it seems, right?
For sure.
For capture or, extermination or whatever.
For sure. As well, we see in Days of Future Past on the animated series, you see on Bishop, he has this big M tattooed on his face, which he might, recontextualize and wear it as eventually a badge of honor. But at the time, I think it's like he's branded. And this, goes back to allusions to many times in history where human beings have been branded or mutilated or marked in some way, like the way that Magneto talks about during the Holocaust, like this this way of sort of marking people or marking beings as being less than human. So it's like a powerful thing to do to mark up another being that you kind of subjugate in some way.
Sure.
And it's pretty primal stuff when you get there. Chuck adds that he thought that putting her in that gimp suit would have been enough. Yeah, maybe, but then you lose it when you don't have full body images of her, and maybe this will play a role also. Like, well, let's see what happens as we continue. Do you mind starting at the top again?
Yeah, of course. Good girl, Red. I'm proud of you.
Well done, Sergeant. That's 3 less muties to worry about. And you see like the organic border shift into the regular one again on the panel border as it fades back into. Yeah. So many died because of me.
Rachel, you're crying. What's the matter? Is anything wrong?
No, not really. I got a speck in my eye, that's all.
She's lying. She's hiding something. I want to help, but for the moment, I'll not press the point. In fact, there's a very large thing in her eye that's making both of her eyes cry, but that's beside the point. That large vessel we saw upriver, is that the one Aurora's on?
Yep. The X-Men are with her to say goodbye. We shall miss you, Aurora. And I you, Professor. It's a shame Kitty Pryde and Wolverine aren't here to see you off. They're still in Japan. Their adventure currently chronicled in the Kitty Wolverine miniseries. On sale now. And Ascenti.
You could always wait till their return.
I considered it, Kurt. But perhaps it is best I leave now. I'm having a hard enough time bidding you all farewell. If I had to face Kitty, I fear I would never go. And I must. By the way, I think it's really, really hard to draw characters small like this.
Okay.
And JRJR has always been really good at it. And like having a version where we don't need more detail to know what's going on. Just these really simplified shapes. Like, again, look how cool and big Peter is and how tiny Illyana is.
Mm-hmm.
That's really great. It's a lot of fun. Nightcrawler is wearing a tuxedo with tails.
Top hat and tails, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
He's here to party. Here to party. Enough of these sad words and faces. This is supposed to be a celebration. Champagne, everyone?
You're meant to sip that. I know. I seem to have acquired a taste for it. May I have another glass, Professor? Aurora, are you certain you've made the right decision, leaving the X-Men? Of course not. Hey, Chris, so he's drawing her here with those lines up her eyes again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think this is a makeup choice? Is it like to go with her hair? It's like a makeup style?
Yeah, it could be. Could be.
It was really strange in the Barry Windsor Smith issues, or issue. Like, it was so exaggerated. Okay, just asking if it's... So she's every morning putting on these lines. It was the 80s. I mean, we all did that.
Punk rock it up a bit, maybe, even further.
But stripped of my powers as I am, I'm little use to you, especially as the team's leader. I cannot assume they will spontaneously regenerate, or that some means of restoration might be found. Though either would be wonderful, I must rebuild my life. And the best place for that is Africa, my mother's home, where I grew to womanhood. I understand. I wish I could do more. You have been my teacher and my friend. Those are gifts beyond price. Nothing more is needed.
Attention, please. All ashore. Let's go in the show.
It's time for us to leave, Aurora. Be well. Thank you, Illyana. I shall try. Nightcrawler, give Kitty my love.
Do that yourself, Liebchen, when you return.
Back to Rachel's face, Jason Jose adds, when she loses control, they come back. She has to keep the scars hidden.
Ooh.
Oh, see?
Wow.
And Chuck says that's interesting. I'm assuming he's talking about that. I think that is kind of cool. It's like her hidden shame, right? She's trying to always sort of bury it down. Similar to Orion of the New Gods, where he is actually, as his rage comes, like he is really gross looking. And the mother box actually calms and changes his face back to a more pleasant visage, because as his rage kind of comes on, he looks more and more like Darkseid.
Oh, interesting.
Or actually more and more like Calabac. It looks kind of gross.
Oh, okay.
80s makeup, extreme angles, yes.
Extreme.
For sure. Nice group hug there, JRJR. Agreed. South Street Seaport, Lower Manhattan.
Where shall we go next, Rachel?
We're not meeting the others till this evening for dinner. That gives us the whole afternoon. There's an exhibition at the Met I think you'll love. But first, if it's okay, I'd like to do some shopping. I figure I'm long past due.
That sounds wonderful. Lead the way.
As the two young women meander uptown, marveling at the city's myriad of sights, sounds, and smells.
This is the last load, Phil. I'm taking a break.
Sure thing, Jaime.
Tomorrow's payday. I'll be able to get those books for the boy. Hey, that's my locker.
Be cool, bro. Ow!
I ain't your bro, Stevens. I catch either you messing with me or my stuff, I'll take it out of your scummy hides. Now beat it before you make it real mad. It's that necklace. And I never should have left it here. I was asking for trouble. I was scared to take it home. I didn't tell anyone what I found. How'd they know? Do you want to do the necklace too?
Sure. I summoned, they answered. As will all with greed and murdered their hearts. But 'twas thou who saved me, Jaime Rodriguez. Thou art my favored one. Yield me thy soul, so small a price for so great a gift, and the world will be thine.
No! The more I listen, the longer I have that thing, the more I want to say yes, and it knows it. The necklace is evil. I can't fight it much longer. I gotta get rid of it tonight.
Chuck says Claremont names for non-player characters. Drink. Okay. Oh, that's good. Oh my god. These Secret Wars ads, I want those figures so bad. I have those figures, but I want them still. I want them. I want to play with them. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
The Metropolitan Museum of Art on 5th Avenue at 82nd Street. Chris, have you been to the Met?
I have, yeah.
That's awesome. We should go to New York.
We should. You know what?
Yeah,
Next
man.
time, let's do a show in New York.
All right. Let's work on that. New York and where's the other places I wanted to go? Oh yeah, Quebec City. 2025. That's two big wishes. Quite simply, one of the finest museums in the world.
Rachel, it's as if I'd come home.
I figured this is a recreation of a Roman palace. Glad you like it.
Oh, I do. Though I confess my family's villas in Nova Roma are nowhere near as grand. I see references to Caesars. Were they heirs to Gaius Julius?
The first few, anyway. The old republic died with his assassination. His adopted son, Octavian, became Rome's first emperor, Augustus Caesar.
My ancestors feared such an outcome. That's why they fled Italy. Had it not been for the new mutants, Nova Roma would have suffered a similar fate. My father would have died. My own fate would have been far worse.
Hey, cheer up. Everything worked out for the best, didn't it? The kids saved the day. See New Mutants 9 through 11 and Ascenti.
I know. I am very happy with you all. But in my heart, I yearn for home, for the world and father I love.
Me too. But at least you have somewhere to go back to. I have nothing. Nobody. By the way, in that moment right there, like, do you remember Annie Lennox in the video for Here Comes the Rain Again?
Sure.
Like that.
Yeah.
She had that like dyed orange hair.
Dye is so orange. Yeah.
And it was neon orange. And it was short like that. And you know, she had like the striking cheekbones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 1985 Annie Lennox as Rachel Summers.
There you are.
Those thought patterns. I know them.
Rachel?
Not the best run pose, by the way.
Not so much. Hey! What are you doing, girl? Why are you running?
For them to be so strong, she must be close by. That limo. She's still relaxed. I sense no alarm. The instant I recognized her, I put a tight lock on my own psi patterns. I don't think she spotted me.
Would you mind explaining what the devil is going on?
Great people, by the way, on the street there. Like, all the shapes are good, and like, I don't know, the poses are nice. No one's just symmetrical. There, even that dude standing there reading the newspaper, leaning to one side, like on one foot. The little kid looks cool too. I like his drawings a lot. Sorry, I mentally heard a familiar psychic voice. It belongs to a mutant who very nearly killed me, named Celine.
Pluto, it cannot be.
No, not Pluto, Chris. Celine.
Pluto, it cannot be.
Oh, fair enough. You know her too? I can see the image of her face in your mind. She's from Nova Roma? Amara, why are you angry at me all of a sudden?
My brain, my thoughts are my own. I do not like anyone spying on them, even a friend.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Celine, the demon huntress, killed my mother. If that is truly her, then her life is mine!
Yes, go kill her.
Yes.
I'm down. I do not like Celine. Okay, maybe I do. Only a few blocks further on, the limo pulls into the drive of an elegant, venerable mansion.
Follow me around back, Rachel. We have to find a way in.
This is the servants' entrance. I've never seen so many alarms. If not for the burglary skills Aurora taught me, plus my own telekinetic abilities, we wouldn't have had a chance.
Is anyone about?
Can you say that more Canadian, please?
Is anyone about?
Can't tell. The building's crammed with psionic baffles. I can't probe beyond this room. I don't like it, Amara. Most people in this era don't even believe in telepaths. Yet this building's got defenses that'd be a match for Professor Xavier.
Go if you wish. I am a warrior and a Roman.
There's
We
that,
do-
like... Sorry.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
I was going to say there's that, like, Wonder Woman thing. Like,
That's
the idea of... Right?
That's the whole vibe from this issue that I got for sure. We do not let our murdered dead go unavenged. We're too conspicuously dressed as we are. We need disguise. Aha! No one should look twice at a pair of common household slaves.
A collar. I swore I'd never wear one again.
Rachel, hurry up, get changed.
It's easy for you to pretend to be a slave, Amara. You've never been one. So this just is such a Scooby-Doo kind of thing to me. Like, they sneak into the bad guy's base and they put on the costumes, but it's such a silly play to get them dressed like that. But okay, like stormtrooper outfits. Here we go, put them on.
Yeah, totally.
Despite Rachel's misgivings, however,
How can women even stand in such shoes, much less walk? I fear my ankles will break with every step.
don't look at me, partner. This loony caper was your idea. I'm going back for a second. Just to the previous page. You don't have to go. 2 pages ago, both women are wearing high heels, by the way. They're wearing high heel boots, but they're still wearing high heels. So, these are different. These are probably shoes. And yeah, they are pointy and heeled, but they at least know how to, they have at least worn heels. So, anyway. I need one of you ladies upstairs. The other one, come with me. The butler. I wasn't even aware he was nearby. I'll have to be a lot more careful. I'm too used to my psi senses warning me of any trouble. Having no choice, they want to preserve their cover identities. The girls reluctantly obey. At the same moment, in secret catacombs, buried beneath the mansion, is Batman.
Herr Shaw, I am Frederick von Rome. I have the high privilege to present a candidate for admission to the inner circle of the Hellfire Club as its new Black Queen, Lady Celine.
Really? I grant you, von Rome. Your protege certainly looks the part, but the title of Black Queen is a singular honor. It must be earned. I don't think you let people just kind of come into your secret catacombs. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Even if you're, trying out for the part, like this Von Rome dude,
Von
you
Rome.
don't let him into your secret catacombs. It's secret.
Secret.
Yeah.
That, my lord, will be my pleasure.
By Hecate! Most impressive, madam. But you'll find Sebastian Shaw is not so easily caught or killed. Had I not broken free, I'd have been encased in stone and suffocated. My escape was a very near thing. I absorb my strength from the kinetic energy of blows struck against me. The harder I'm hit, the more powerful I become. But Celine's was a passive attack, the kind most likely to defeat me. Was it a lucky coincidence, or does she know my weakness? Whichever, she's made her intentions plain.
I took the liberty of repairing your throne, Sebastian.
And sits on it, as if it were already hers.
As you have seen, I have absolute control over all forms of inorganic matter. Would you like a further demonstration?
Thank you. No, this was quite sufficient.
Among my people, on such occasions it is customary to present a gift to one's host, as a gesture of fealty and respect. Be patient a small while, and I shall return with mine.
Kind words from someone who feels neither. Where did she go? Is the witch a teleporter? No, Sebastian. She created a momentary trance effect, instant transitory hypnosis, that slipped away before we recovered our wits. Sebastian, will you accept her? Under the circumstances, Tessa, I fear I have little alternative.
That'll be all, young lady.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Not a word, Rachel Summers, not one bloody sound till the door closed behind you. That guy wasn't wearing pants, was he?
I don't think so, no.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Oh, Claremont, says David Cutler. How are you, David? All right, Chuck says, I'm confused. Who's Tessa? Good question. Chris, do you remember who Tessa is?
Is she a robot? No, huh? Okay, that's all I got.
Isn't she another telepath? Like a white
She-
queen?
Yeah.
Didn't we meet her before?
We met her before, yeah.
I do admit Celine and Tessa look too much alike.
Yes.
They're both dark-haired women in this particular garb.
And yeah.
Oh, she is a robot?
I mean, Jason's saying she's a robot.
Right, but I totally forgot that she was. Where did we learn she was a robot?
I was just joking. I thought that's what's going to happen is she's going to pull the who's Lex Luthor's Mercy?
Yeah,
Mercy,
yes.
right? In the animated series, yeah.
Right, I'm looking her up just for the sake of this for a minute.
Of course.
And I got the wrong character. Or I didn't. I think she has another name, too. She's also known as Sage.
No.
Oh, my gosh. X-Men 132 as Tessa. So we did read her as one of the members of the Hellfire Club back during the Dark Phoenix saga.
Okay.
And, yeah, she's... okay, it just says Shaw had gathered other mutants around himself inside the Hellfire Club, including Tessa, his lover, Lords Chantel, and Emma Frost, Leland, of course, those people. Yeah, I don't want to start reading this over and over, but yeah, she is one of the characters that is there. And Inner Circle, illusionist Jason Wingard, Jean Grey, the whole influence there, the Black Queen. Tessa was in no position to defend one of against Xavier students. So I don't really have much of an answer other than but I think people in the comments are giving us more information. So yeah, Mass, how you doing, man? He says Tessa becomes Sage. And that's cool. So she She has a history. We've seen her in the comics. We didn't know much about her then. We don't know much about her at the moment, but I think she just wears her hair in a big. She wears her hair up in a big bun, and where Selene wears her hair down. Other than that, there isn't much iconographically different between them.
Right.
Yeah.
Except they're both perpetually cold.
Yes. And we would read more about Tessa, in the early 2000s. But at this moment in time, we just know that she is a member of that inner circle and she's not the big dog in the room. She's not an alpha. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I think that's maybe all we're going to get out of this. Okay. And then, oh my goodness gracious. Not so loud, they'll hear. I can't hold it in. It hurts. How could they? I never dreamed. It looks so silly. And their thoughts. Wait till I tell. Oh, stop, please. No more. It's too funny. I'll die. Oh, I can't remember the last time I've done that. I didn't believe I had it in me anymore. Oh, there, that's better. Listen to me, will you? Wow. I laughed. I'm really laughing. Oh, now she says, I can't remember the last time I've done that. Oh, I didn't believe I had it in me anymore. So we don't get to know what she saw.
We don't.
But I think we can imagine it was. Well, do you want to talk about what you think she saw?
I mean.
Okay, never mind.
Like a chess game?
Yes, exactly. But then look behind her. Something's coming. Mm-hmm. Surprise, vampire! You ambushed me the first time we met. That'll never happen again.
Ow!
Did that hurt? I'm so glad. I hope this hurts more. Wham! Too bad the pleasure wasn't Amara's. She deserves this moment more than I. I'm impressed. Celine's still breathing. I took her out awfully easily. Too easily, considering she held her own against the X-Men. Her features, they're changing! Oh no! Amara!
Did you really think me so great a fool to repeat myself, child? I have more respect for you and your powers. Don't fret, my darling. I shan't take your entire soul yet. Merely enough to place you within my power, along with your companion. Isn't that nice? I trust, Sebastian, I haven't kept you waiting. See what I've brought you. Are they not lovely? Consider them yours, to do with as you will.
The redhead. Her resemblance to Jean Grey is uncanny. Uncanny. Wow.
Oh.
Are they related? Does she possess the power of Phoenix? Take the gift, Sebastian. Use it to destroy Selene. Now this vertical panel, where like Selene's Selene's lower half of her face is in shadow. Like this is such a badass panel. That's a really great composition, and I love the way that he renders that face. Like, yeah, just black it out. It's really striking. Absolutely. Very cool. Okay, Jason just wants to add some more info about Selene here. Or sorry, about Tessa. He says her mind works like a computer and has some cybernetic equipment.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good to know. Now, this page I really, really love as a concept. I wanted to do this for one of our things,
Okay.
In issue 7 of Group of 7 comics, there is a part where they're talking about the new tech that the characters get, and I drew a page that was like the demonstration of the possibility of using the claw weapon that they have, the claws, the collapsible lightweight armor weapon system. Is that what it's called?
That's what it stands for, yeah.
And I remember I did a layout that was like this. It was one of the Peregrine's faces, or one of their heads, and then the action was happening inside. But I found the panels got so small. But I see this layout, I'm like, I should have gotten away from panels and just used more organic shapes and some things loose. But it could have worked this way too. So I'm really glad to have seen another like a really good artist do this in a way that I probably could have figured it out if I had have thought of this at the time, but I did not. I like this page a lot.
Yeah, very cool.
When she wakes, Rachel wears her Maori mask, the studded uniform of a hound, and she howls in despair, fearing that her desperate flight to the past, her new life, has been no more than an illusion, a cruel prank played by her keepers. Around her looms impenetrable darkness, a squirming awfulness that is every thought and memory, real or imagined, that has ever terrified her, the perfect prison. She's too scared to think, much less escape. Safer, easier by far to stay where she is, to obey, to give up. No! I'll never be a slave. Never! Fantasy or not, I don't care. I deny this. I deny you. I'm still my own person. A free soul, complete, it seems, with a fancy outfit. Celine's sunk her fangs deep into me. But a part of me is still myself. And then, like, this transformation.
Right, which is her having sun control. Is that what that is?
Perhaps. Let's see where this goes. I'm curious. But what now? I'm inside my own mind, but I don't know if I've sufficient power to take control of the rest of it and my body. And the moment I try, Celine will sense it and strike with everything she's got. Wait a minute. Amara's her prisoner too. And I'll bet in the same shape I was. I never broke the psi-link I established back at the museum. I can shift my consciousness into her skull without tripping Celine's alarms. Can I shift my consciousness into her skull without tripping Celine's alarms? Worth a shot anyway. I've got zip to lose. Okay, I'm going to posit that this is Romita Jr.'s first crack at her superhero costume.
Okay.
Like, if this is her creating a version of herself, right. So he's now getting a swing at it, right? Like, how does she envision herself? What am I going to create? And this is what he goes with, and obviously it doesn't last. So It's like, this is strike one, and interesting. Okay, maybe we're seeing like the thigh cut boot, which is the same as Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing the sash. We're seeing an emblem across the midsection.
Yeah.
We're seeing that same V shape on her collarbone. So Phoenix has all those elements too.
Right.
The face mask. She joins Cobra. That's what's happening.
She's a ninja. That's kind of what I was going for.
Score one for me. Is this Amara's image of home? It's lovely. Except that, thanks to Celine, it's rotting away beneath the surface. The air stinks of corruption. Sorry, that actually was me. Of her evil, but Amara doesn't seem to care. Amy, it's Rachel.
Leave this place. You do not belong here. Go away.
She doesn't recognize me with my amazing mask on. Celine's influence over her is a lot stronger, but I'm committed. I can't back down. Whoops. Sorry, partner. My TK shields stop your missiles. Your sword won't even scratch it. Told you. I'd love to spar, but time's of the essence.
Release me.
Fight's over. You lose. Make me, Blondie. You're just an ordinary girl. How you gonna break my grip, huh? Earthquake. Now or never. Selena had to have noticed that. And if I'm lucky, things inside Amara's skull are only going to get worse. Her rage is prompting her to draw on her superpowers.
She had missiles?
I heard missiles too. I mean,
Stop your missiles and your sword. I'm like, she fired missiles?
she fired like those two red things, maybe that bounced off. Yeah, okay, it's cool.
Okay.
Missiles.
Checking in on that. All right.
Missiles, bro. I saw before in her memories what happened when they fought in Nova Roma. Celine drained Amara's life force, but contact with the Earth restored her. New Mutants 11. More importantly, it broke Celine's hold on her. I'm gambling my psychic attack will make history repeat itself. And she really thinks a lot, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Sure am causing a heck of a ruckus. Poor Amy. Whatever happens, she'll probably come out of this with a beaut of a headache. At least the equal of mine. Looking good, she's transforming into magma.
Let me go. You dare lay hands on a daughter of Rome, witch? You dare lay claim to my thoughts, my very soul? I warned you what would happen.
Uh-oh. The statue. She wasn't referring to me. She meant Celine. My plan worked. Phew. And as the image of the demon huntress is destroyed, so too is her control over Amara. Now, I'm curious if anyone in the chat has ever read those issues of New Mutants. Looks like 9 through 11. Are those issues drawn by Bill Sienkiewicz? I'm wondering if Magma's superhero persona is sort of originated by him. If you were to tell me, when like looking at that middle panel on the bottom tier on the left side, which is page 18, if you were to tell me that was inspired by a Sienkiewicz drawing or a Sienkiewicz design, I would believe you. There's something about it. Maybe the no-nose, the graphic nature of it. It looks also like a little ambitious with those color hold lines, as opposed to ink lines. It makes me think maybe Sienkiewicz is involved in that, but I do not know. But I'm interested. I'm back in my own head. I'm aware of the world around me. I'm thinking my own thoughts. Oh my God. Come on, Claremont. This is great. Amy busted me free as well. Just as I'd hoped. Whoa! Sebastian, if the fire girl is not stopped, her tremors will collapse the entire building. I'm open to suggestions, Tessa. She's your gift, Celine. Deal with her.
If you can, sorceress. If you dare.
The quake's effects are even worse in the reality than they were in Amy's mind. I didn't expect this. Because of this, innocent people may be hurt or even killed. But if Amara backs down, even a little, Celine could enslave her again. Professor Xavier, wherever you are, if you can hear me, oh, please hear me. Come a-running! In the meantime, my Cybolt staggered her. If I can only...
Foolish child, did you not learn when we first met that your psychic powers are no match for mine?
Ow!
Since your wills have proved too stubborn to break, I'll simply crush your bodies instead.
Oh, can I show you something quick?
Yeah, sure.
Hold on, bro. Okay, look. So in this one, those lines are in the ink, and they were changed over to red for the comic. Interesting. And Jason Jose says Sal Buscema is the one who created her design, which is cool. I'm happy to. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Chuck adds, "Come a running." Come running.
Yep.
So do you see this thing on the left, by the way? Just to like totally derail.
Yes.
You may become the next Marvel superstar. And it's this huge tryout book.
Yeah.
I have this. I got this at the time.
Okay.
And I was so scared to draw in it because I only had the pages that were included. Those are the only like real comic artboard I ever had as a kid. So I was much too terrified to try and draw on them because I couldn't replace them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or it was just the excuse I used as to why I did not draw on it as a youngster. But it's a really neat artifact.
It is.
Pages. It's drawn by John Romita Jr.
Okay.
And the pages start out fully inked and colored and the whole bit. And then as the issue continues, elements are pulled out. So it goes to black and white, so you can demonstrate your coloring skills. Then it goes to pencils, or so you can demonstrate your inking skills. And then you get to demonstrate your lettering skills. And as you read further of the issue, you get to sort of highlight the specific skills needed to become any of these pieces in the assembly line.
I wonder how this. So if you read down, it talks about the actual kind of what you'd be involved with, and it's to finish a Spider-Man story.
Yes.
Called Personals. That
Yes.
came out in Christmas of '85. Do you know how that story ended? Did it end well? Did the person I wonder how it went.
You mean the story in the issue?
Yeah, like whoever got the gig through this process.
Oh, I think lots of people tried. I don't know. I've never heard of a story where an individual did it and they said, "Yeah, that's how I got my job." I haven't heard that narrative yet.
Okay, but are you aware of the actual comic in which this story was completed?
Oh, I don't think it ever went to print. I don't think that was the point. No.
But it says like to finish a Spider-Man story.
Right, but does it say to finish a Spider-Man story that will
It'll go on sale. It's going to be published on a special edition, go on sale around Christmas '85.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I do not know about that. I've never seen a version of it. That's really funny. But it is a really interesting way to try and get, new talent. Sure. It is 11 by 17. It's like full sized. It's really cool. And it was one of like the two artifacts I had as a youngster that were the like window into how comics are made by professionals at that time. Right. That and how to make comics the Marvel way were like the two things I could see were like give me just a sense of what it was really like. And it's fascinating. Like some of it's printed in blue line, so you can draw over it. And I've talked about it now. Like I would love to. I'm still tempted to scan the pages in and then actually go and
then you should do that. Do the work and then send it in.
Right.
Now in 2024 and be like.
And they made a second one, by the way, of like the Jim Lee X-Men era.
Okay, all right.
And I'd never got that one, but if I saw it now for a reasonable price, I would get it just to see what was
right.
There. Yeah, very, very curious. Such an interesting thing. But next time you're over here, ask me. I'll bring that one out and you can take a look. It's a neat object.
Totally neat artifact. Your pardon, Fraulein, but we like our young friends just the way they are.
Nightcrawler, be careful, Alf. Don't give her a chance to mind shock you or drain your life force.
No. Bring the witch back. She's mine. Up against the wall, suckers. Looks like we've arrived in the nick of time, Colossus, as usual. Y'all okay, Ray?
Peachy Keen, Rogue. The professor's here, too, in his astral form. Now I'll show these creeps. Woo!
Yeah.
I'm here to bother you. Yeah, it's weird. It's like, and his pose is like,
yeah,
like a spooky ghost. It is strange, and it feels like this is the second or maybe third time that like Colossus and Rogue have come crashing in.
Yeah,
like late in an issue. Like, there's the time that she fought Selene. There's the time they're fighting those shadow creature things like the dire wraiths. And then this. It's like every issue, she or someone else gets into trouble and they just mentally call for help. And
they break through the wall.
And Rogue and Colossus come charging in at the exact same time. Which is hard to coordinate, by the way, because one moves a lot faster than the other. This is like two hockey players approaching the blue line at their version of top speed. You have to really time it right. And Colossus is also wearing this like in-between costume, one that never becomes iconic or never gets sort of known from a certain age. It's part Dave Cockrum costume with that strip down the middle, but now it's like the yellow is erased, or that the shoulder points. and part what it's going to become, which is like the Ramita famous sort of double-breasted Star Trek 2 jacket. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah. Professor's astroform. Oh my God! If you wish to continue this battle, Shaw, the X-Men will be more than happy to oblige. Where is Celine? Upstairs, and thanks to a nerve pinch from Nightcrawler, quite unconscious.
I want her.
No, Amara. You will do nothing without my leave. I appreciate your feelings toward her, child, but my students do not kill. If you would remain with us, you must accept that.
Yes, sir.
Abducting your brats wasn't my idea, Charles. Who are you calling brats, chump? Rachel. The Hellfire Club has no quarrel with them or you at the moment. If you wish to leave, that's fine with me. Thanks, Colossus.
As he rips her out of the stone.
Soon, in the mansion's foyer, or for you Americans, foyer, after various explanations, we can't go outside dressed like this, especially me and Amara.
Y'all New York, hon? Who'd notice?
I don't know about you, Rogue, but I'd really rather not find out. I'm embarrassed enough as it is. Anyway, it's the perfect excuse to try one of my mom's favorite stunts. She used to drive Dad crazy, telekinetically transforming his clothes like this. Oh, I'm more beat than I thought.
How did you know we were in trouble and where to find us?
You must have heard my telepathic mayday, right, Professor? Oh, that's you, sorry. I think
No, it's X, isn't it? The professor? Oh, not exactly, Rachel.
It's the earthquakes, right?
Yeah. No, that's. Oh yeah. I did that.
Pretty hot stuff, partner.
All this destruction, and for what, my friend? Celine yet lives. My mother remains unavenged. That accursed demon at liberty to spread her evil across your land as she did mine.
From what the prof said to Mr. Shaw, I bet it'll be a long time before she steps out of line again. And when she does, we'll be waiting and ready to nail her once and for all. And look at that, hunk of the month.
Hunk of the month.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Later, elsewhere. See the
hammer the gems to powder, then melt the metal. Bits in Louise's furnace. That'll be the end of this nightmare. Where's the blasted train? Why is it taking so long? Lousy MTA, don't run nothing right. Easy, Hermano. Be cool. It's the necklace making you jump. I hate it. I wish this was over.
Good evening. 2 weeks ago, filming began on Roman Nakoba's latest movie, which co-stars Alison Blair, an admitted mutant, soon to be played by Taylor Swift in the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine movie, so says David Cutler.
Mm-hmm.
The film is said to focus on the problems of mutant kind. I suppose there must be some. Any wolf in sheep's clothing has to put up with that annoying itchy fleece. Look at that dude with the knife.
They're behind you. Behind me.
Look at that hair. Protesters, barely restrained by police at Nekoba's own hired thugs, have constantly picketed the shooting. These people are afraid, and we don't blame them. Mutants are an entirely new race. Some have mounted blatant attacks upon humankind, demonstrating to my satisfaction that they intend to supplant us lower creatures as the dominant species on the planet. We believe that the mutant menace is real indeed.
You got it, man. Kill all them muties.
To learn the fate of Dazzler and her movie, see Dazzler, the movie, a Marvel graphic novel by Jim Shooter, guest starring the X-Men, on sale soon.
My lucky day. This piece looks for real. Hey, it's on fire. I'm burning. Stop it, please. Don't hurt me. No. No.
Free at last. Kulam Gath is free. After countless centuries, my destiny is at hand to make this world forever mine. Next, in Age Undreamt of.
Undreamt of.
Now, hold on. I want to see this letters page for a second. Okay. I don't have a copy, so I'm looking at the screen big time. Gotcha. I'm looking at it bigly. It doesn't say to read another book first, but it feels like we should be reading another comic book first. Have you read ahead yet?
No, of course not. Never do.
I know you never do. Well, yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that one next week when we get there. Right. But unfortunately, I'm not able to see this letter page. I don't have a copy in hand. We got Cosmetically Yours from Brooklyn, New York. From Bangladesh. Wow. Yeah. One from California. Lafayette. No, that's the street. It's Illinois. Texas. Nice. Florida, Key West. Indiana. And Surrey, England. I've been there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the next issue has a lot going on, so we'll get there. Jason Jose adds, he says, I think at this time Sunspot's dad was in the inner circle of the Hellfire Club.
Okay.
Ah. Both these books came up on my Sunday news stream, too. Oh. Dazzler the movie, the graphic novel. Mashup. Here we go. Get ready for a lot of voices next issue. This was a weirdly paced issue. Yeah, it was. And also, we're kind of weird. I read weird. Mm-hmm. I should actually be a little transparent. I'm aging out of using my eyes naturally. I'm finding it hard for me to read these days without. These are like distance glasses. I need something up close or something. I need to constantly take them on and off because anyway, I'm finding it hard to read at the speed that my brain wants to go. And I got to make a change. So I'll try and improve that without having to practice reading the issue ahead of time. But yeah,
sure.
My vision is getting a little dodgy. The next issue is got everybody.
Everybody. And I mean everybody.
Yeah. It's
the Annie-Men, Count Nefarious.
Yeah. I mean, it's Galactus. It's
Galactus.
There's going to be a lot of people, so maybe we'll figure out a solution for that. Yeah, it should be fun. Weird issue. I do like. I do like Magma, her power set as part of the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna have, I like the idea of always being the two kids that are kind of buddies. That was one of the things I liked about. I don't think you ever read Grant Morrison's Justice League. It was a big deal. He's the first one to brought back. They called it the Big Seven at the time. At the end of the '90s, he did a run where it brought back the 7 characters you would expect in the Justice League. Mm-hmm. And except for it was Wally West, Flash, and Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern. And they were the 2 kids with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter. And that dynamic was really kind of neat. That there were, these 5 legendary characters in the 2 kids. But Wally had been a superhero since he was a kid. And Kyle was Peter Parker, brand spanking new. He was a comic book artist, a freelance artist who had been given this ring that he wasn't worthy of. You never read any Kyle Rayner stuff, eh?
No.
The idea was that Hal Jordan had just killed all the Green Lanterns because he'd gone mad. And
Parallax.
Yes, and the last Guardian, the last little blue guy, comes to Earth and just like he's about to he has no more time left. Gives it to like the first guy he finds and be like, "You're the last one. I've put everything we have into this last ring, and sorry, dude, you're on your own." And he has to basically become a fearless, or like a person who's able to conquer their own fear.
Right.
Yes, with the girl stuffed in the fridge. Thank
With
you,
the girl
Jason
stuff.
Jose. That is where that term comes from, unfortunately. But I love that idea that like Hal earns it, and that makes him kind of interesting. And Jon Stewart earns it, and Guy Gardner earns it in his own way. But this guy, Kyle, is like, he's not really ready. So you get to kind of go with him on a larger arc. But those two guys in the league, the two kids, made it kind of fun. And it's a neat dynamic to think there's like a couple kids in the X-Men along with the more veteran characters, which is kind of a neat iteration we get later on anyway. But I guess Rachel and Kitty, when Kitty comes back, they'll be the two young ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you get the kind of older,
more
class.
seasoned. Yeah.
Yeah, the second Genesis class, the Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Colossus group. Kind of a neat thing that we see also later on in, which cartoon is it? X-Men Evolution, where there's Cyclops and Jean, and those kids are high school students, while Wolverine and Storm, Beast and Professor X are the older teachers.
Right.
Which they carried that onto the movies, kind of with older ones and younger ones. It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, neat. So we'll see. Strange issue. Next issue will be, of course, 190.
So, are we going to recap the Wolverine Kitty Pryde series too? Like,
great question.
Because they're like in the next issue, are they back, and should we recap before we
do have
the world?
We do have a calendar,
and
I'm about to check it. While you're in real time. Here we go. So we are at the recap is in a few more issues. They're not back yet. So next is 190, and then 191, then 192. We got 3 issues there.
Okay.
Then the recap on March 19th.
Gotcha.
That's the schedule. But for the next 3 weeks, it's going to be some action.
Okay.
Whatever's in that crystal necklace. Poor Jaime got stabbed. That other guy took it, and now he's on fire.
Dude's on fire.
And we're gonna get some big action going on in New York City, and there might be some sort of magical thing that got released. It's trying to take over the world. Some kind of apocalypse, some magic. Maybe the Avengers are going to be involved. Maybe Spider-Man.
Who knows?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I've read ahead. It's going to be intense. We might need a little help.
Oh, we should call in some of our friends.
Next time on X-Men. Comics. We got this book out right now. You can get that at our website, group7comics.ca. The number, of course, is 7, as opposed to the word 7. And any upcoming appearances, where are we next, Chris?
We're at Toronto Comic-Con, March 15th through 17th. Are those dates? That
sounds good.
Yeah, that last weekend of the March break here. So we are at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. Come check us out. Come see us. Say hi if you're in the Toronto area and you're planning on going to Comic-Con. We'd love to see you.
You know what? Even if you're not in the Toronto area, come to the Toronto area. It is a big show in the heart of a great city, and it'll be busy. And I did not look to see what celebrity guests are coming. I did not look to see which famous comic book guests are coming. But it'll be a fun place to get action figures, buy back issues, get new comics. It is a bit more of a Toronto-focused show as opposed to Fan Expo Canada, which is a little bit more continental. Mm-hmm. This one has a lot more Toronto creators there, so it's a lot of fun for that. And it will be a grand time. I have not also seen what building we're in, the north or the south.
Sure.
Last year we were in the north, and it was awesome, and I'm hoping we are again. But you and I will be there for the 3 days. We'll be tabling in the pro section, which is lovely. Yeah. I did see on social media that our friend Ricky Lima did get an Artist Alley table, which makes me really happy because I know he battles to get at that show every year, and I'm glad we'll see him there. Yeah, that should be a blast.
Totally. I did see, some of the guests are Some of the people from Ahsoka are going to be there.
Oh, cool.
The actors who played Ezra and then Elsbeth, I guess, is that the
Elspeth.
the Night Witch?
Yep.
There's a couple of What We Do in the Shadows stars there. Speaking of New York City,
Right.
going to be there, and then also Star Trek. There's some Star Trek folks as well.
Is Jason Lowe going to be there?
I actually don't know. I think our friend David's going to be there. Cutler.
I think David Cutler will be there. Yeah.
Jason, if you're still listening and watching, I'm actually not too sure. Let us know if you're going to be there.
I hope so.
And in terms of comics, folks, it's hard to can't really remember. But hey, good.
Can I show you something else I'm doing?
Good times, of course.
All right. So I'm recreating a page of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The first appearance of Shredder, like the first reveal page. And so it's done in the original one is done in not screen tone. What's it called? Anyway, it's this like the page has a chemical in it. And when you apply a second chemical to it, it brings out the shadow. And so I'm kind of recreating it using ink wash.
Nice.
For our friend Jerome Cabanatan.
Oh, very cool.
It's kind of a fun one. I haven't finished the bottom part yet, but I'm working on all those tones on the top one, and it is such a joy to do that for like some exercise and kind of a fun one to do.
Nice.
Draw some Ninja Turtles. Actually, drawing Shredder in the foot. But that's it, man. We're done with this episode.
All right.
Yeah, weird. So I'm curious if we're ever going to see that costume again on Rachel, or if that was just a one-time thing. And my guess is it's a one-time thing and it never comes back. But we shall see.
Strange one. I do believe we see and I think Jason had mentioned it in the chat. I think maybe it could be in the Excalibur years. Phoenix, the character Phoenix, which I think is the Rachel, has like the coming in like on her face.
Oh, she does.
It's like red. So I think
she has it while she's on the X-Men.
Okay, so there you are.
Yeah, and it comes at every time that she, like I said, he said, loses control. I wasn't going to mention it, but yeah, like that's we don't get Excalibur until after the Mutant Massacre. So maybe I don't know, 88. It's going to take a few years before we see that, but she'll be around for the next 20, 30 issues. We can get lots of Rachel.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Everyone out there, have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time. And on behalf of Chris and I on Group of 7 Comics, have a wonderful week. Look after yourselves. Stay safe, and keep reading X-Men comics, and we'll see you again soon. Oh, more.
I'll just quick shout out to a couple new subscribers we have, including the man himself, Donnie Sparrow. Don Sparrow is a comics trader who we met in France, and is from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and we'll be
There's the prairies.
Comic Arts Festival in May in Toronto. Don's a great guy, so go check him out, as well as The Pass, THPASS. Thank you for subscribing to our channel.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. See you next time. Have a good night.
See ya.